Hello everyone, it's Gigo here and welcome back to the channel once again. If it is your first time seeing this project, this is the Lashibi project where we came to do some amendment with this particular project and then we have to take over and continue with it. So if you watch the previous episode where we started with the electrical works and plumbing and also with the plastering, right? So that was episode one. But whilst we were on that job, we realized that the block walls, and then the concrete casting are not on the same level. So that will require us to either chisel, the concrete, which is the beam, or we have to add more mortar. Which is making the mortar thick, the plastering very thick, but that's going to cost the client a lot of money because this thing runs through the whole structure. Right? The wall and the concrete casting, the level is not equal and it runs through the whole structure. But you can even see with your own eyes with the wood. You see, they casted it in a way that it even covered the wood as well. They casted with the wood. So yeah, it's a very difficult thing here. With this project particular, right? This is not to tarnish anybody's work, right? But it is an educational video that we can all learn from it. And these are some of the reasons why you need to get artisans that understand themselves, right? That knows the right thing to be done, right? If you get, two different artisans, right? Because this work, who do you blame? Do you blame the mason, or do you blame the carpenter, or do you blame the steel bender, or I don't know, who do you blame here, right? But just because there's no understanding, when the mason comes to see the mistake of the steel bender, or when the mason comes to see the mistake of the carpenter, he's not going to correct him, right? Because he wants to be right. And then this is what ends up. Everybody does what he or she wants. And at the end, you can see there's a lot of mistake on your project, which is going to cost you extra money to do the correction. Right. You can see this is so sad, right? This is not just the only, mistakes. This problem runs through the whole structure. It runs through the whole structure, right? So coming back to the living room, you can see the expand here. You see that there's no pillar in this living room. So this is the living room stroke kitchen. It is an open concept. The owner just wanted to have an open concept with no pillar in there. Want to have, a very suspending, right, structure. But, they didn't put in hidden beams, right? And this is something that we've been sharing here at Gigo Production Group with my Steelworks. Hidden beams are, features that we always put in our structure, right? We know that people doesn't like pillars in their structure, but sometimes these things are needed, right? Depending on the span of your structure. If you really don't want these pillars, then that means that you need to introduce the hidden beams. That means that like instead of using maybe 16 mm or 20 mm, maybe you have to even double the 20 mm, right? Instead of having just one hidden beam, maybe you have to have it cross, and that costs money, right? Sometimes, because of, you tell the mason or the engineer that, hey, I really don't want to spend so much money, I just want to do something simple. They try to consider you, and then they miss out those things because when they give you their estimates, it was cheaper than what someone who wanted to do the right thing. So please, when you get your estimate and you are comparing between two different artisans, please ask the question, right? Why do you ask for more materials? right? And when they give you the explanation, I mean, just think about it and go through the drawing and see whether they are right or not.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Pele. We are here at Lashibi project. And we started with the plastering last week.
Sorry for the wind interference. It was really hard at this moment. So, I mean, I thought it was best to just do a voice over here and then, I mean, we continue when the wind was less. So, please bear with us and let's get back to it.
Okay, let's enter into the living area space. So this is the living area space, and this is where we are missing our mortar. It's a living area space. And living area stroke dining. And this is the kitchen side of it. We are yet to come here. We started from the top, so last week we started from the top, and this week we are doing the down. And the down, we did this room yesterday. This is a washroom for one of the bedrooms down here. These are cement. There's a store for the down, and this some of the cement too. This our DB. Our changeover will come here.
Lefty. Your landlord is not black coffee. Have you ever?
Okay, you okay. No, you my top hour. So this is another bedroom. And the washroom for the bedroom here. They are working at this space, so I'll come back there when they are done. So I want to take us to the top. Here's the stairs to the top. So on your immediate right, this is one bedroom here. And there is another bedroom here. And this is their washroom area for the two bedrooms here. And there is another bedroom here. So we finished with the plastering on this side of it. And this side too is the bath. So you could see, because of the tiling work that will be going on here. So this is a rough plastering. This place is smooth. See. Then there's a passway here to the master bedroom itself. So there we come. This is the master bedroom. This is the master bedroom. This is quite spacious. So this place will serve as master bedroom and living room at the same time. And this is the master bath area. And the WC is exclusive here. So here the jacuzzi will be somewhere here, and there will be another bath toward the corner there. Then here is a walk-in closet. This is where the guys are sleeping, so you you have these things here. So that's it. That's their nets. So basically, we are on it and we are progressing steadily. We are yet to come to the outside. So hopefully by close of the week, we'll be done with the inside. The focus will be on the outside.
So that was Pele for you. Pele is our quantity surveyor here at Gigo Production Group. At the same time, he is the supervisor, right, for most of our projects, right, to make sure that everything goes on well, right. So I just want to break down, Pele's work, right. Sometimes people try to cut corners, right, when it comes to building, but beside having the workers to be on site to work, one major thing that we always keep are supervisors, right? You can give your project to an engineer, right? But trust me, engineers doesn't go to site every single day. You cannot pay an engineer to be on site every single day during your construction process, right? Because they have other projects which they have to attend to. They coming to your site every single day means that your project is the only job they have, right? And I mean, you are not paying them every day to be on site. So that's why they have other jobs and they put supervisors in charge, right? So that people who understand construction, who knows what the guys have to do. So that is one point. The second point is, having an architect, right? Your architect and engineer, it doesn't matter whether they are from the same group or not, but they should communicate, right? Because if the engineer sees something wrong with the structure, he can ask the architect that, hey, I've seen this and this. Can we? Because what the architect designed is what the client fell in love with, right? I love this design, and please give me this design. But maybe when the engineer came to site, or when the engineer is seeing the ground and seeing that no, this won't be possible, this cantilever shouldn't be there, this pillar shouldn't be there, they have to have that communication, because changing one pillar or changing a beam changes the design of the house. Even with windows, right? With windows, if you just reduce the size of one window from the structure, it changes the whole 3D design. So communication is something which is very necessary in construction, right? And I mean, coming back to the work of a supervisor on site, is to make sure that the mason, carpenter, and steel benders are doing the right thing, right? If you miss a supervisor on your site, these are some of the mistakes you can see. An engineer can just come and just tell the workers what to do. But if they are all bosses on their own, the carpenter is a boss in his department, the steel bender is also the boss in his department, the mason is also a boss in his department, and they all feel bossy, I mean, your project is the one that suffers, right? That's why sometimes working with, a company is one of the I would say the easiest way of building a house, because you don't have to deal with the workers yourself. But this is why I also created Gigo Production Group, because I realized that most, you know, I would say most clients wants to cut down costs, right? They want to get rid of some of these positions in construction. That's why, I say with my artisans, you can deal with them directly. But if you have been listening to my projects, if you have been listening to me, I always say that when they come on site and they see something wrong, they call the engineer, right? So at the end, it is not that I'm just giving you an artisans and they are working for you and they don't check anything. No, they do check. When they see some of these things, they go back to in the engineer. They bring the engineer in, and engineer comes to educate them, oh, do this right, do this. That is if there's a minor issue. But if the problem is a major one, then we have to bring the client in, right? We have to let a client know that this is what we've seen, and to correct it, meaning you might not get your 3D, right, that you saw initially, so that it doesn't look like, after our artisans came to do their work, they've changed the shape of the house, right? Maybe, I mean, some of these things that you see now, I mean, we have to chisel everything that you see in here. Nothing is level here, right? So if you have a supervisor on site, he makes sure that the thing is done right before they leave. And this saves you a lot of money because the supervisor actually stands in as you, right? So if a supervisor tells them to fix the mistake, that means that the artisans has to use their own money to fix that mistake because the work given to them is not done. So they have to fix their own mistake. But if you don't have a supervisor on site and you seeing the mistake being done later on whilst they are done and they've left, that means that you have to fix it yourself. You have to spend your money to fix the problem. So you having a supervisor on site who checks the artisans to do the right thing saves you a whole lot of money. Even though sometimes you have to pay this, supervisors, but they save you a whole lot of money. You don't have to use your money to fix any mistakes that artisans do just because you have a supervisor on site. So these are some of the ways, right, to cut down costs during your building process so that you don't have to redo work or buy, extra materials and be doing correction with your own money, right? You have someone on site who checks the guys and you just have to pay that person, to that is if you are not there, right? If you are not there. And sometimes even if you are there, some of these things you will never know, like the beams and all of this. I mean, this pillar wasn't in the 3D drawing, right? The owner just wanted a suspension, like, the living room is just suspending, there's no pillar. The owner didn't want to see beam underneath or pillar in the living room, just an open space with no distraction, right? But here lies a case where instead of introducing hidden beams, so that you see this beam you are seeing will go into the concrete casting so that it is hidden. That's why it's called hidden beam. And that costs you more iron rods. But you see, sometimes they want to reduce the cost for the client and all of that. And without this supporting beam, it will collapse, right? So that's why you see even the level of the decking is not level, it's not smooth, it's not leveled, right? You could see we have to come in and introduce this thing there, right? I mean, it was crazy, right? So please, let's just be careful, right? When we are designing our structures, the structures comes with cost, right? Some of this, projections and beam and cantilevers and all of those things, it comes with price, and it sometimes you won't see it with your eyes, right? They are all iron rods work. They are all iron rods, so you won't see that much. So please, when we get an estimate, we don't understand anything, let's ask the question, right? Why is this too much? And I mean, with this structure, you won't see the iron rods, right? But they are all in there. But so please, let's consider some of these things when we are designing our dream homes, right? And also coming back to the artisan thing, right? So for those of us that doesn't want to deal with contractors and engineers, and we want to, be part of our own construction, we want to talk to the masons, the carpenters, the steel benders ourselves. I mean, that is why Gigo Production Group is here, and we give you the opportunity to deal with the workers directly. Tell them what you want them to do, and they will do it for you. We're a team, so we know how we work together, right? But please, it is very important that you get a third eye, right? Someone who can see what is happening from afar, which is why you need a supervisor, right? At least someone who has knowledge about the construction. You can also use your architect as a supervisor. I mean, if he or she has the time to be going up and down, right? But if not, try to get someone who has knowledge to give you the report, at least confirm to you that this has been done before you do a major work or you move to the next phase, right? This is just, an advice to each and everyone. But I mean, I trust my guys, my artisans, I trust them. I know they will do the work for you. They work together as a team. We have engineer behind us. So I believe in them, but always check, double check, and cross check, right? So then I think this brings us to the end of today's episode. I really do appreciate your time spent here on the channel. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in my next episode. Let's get to it.